Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Sorry for the time change. I was in with the kittens after Crimes and Fashions Live, and I was like, I wonder what time it is. And it was 6:18. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to be ready to go live at 6:30. So here I am. And I needed to stop looking at YouTube. So that's one reason I went into the kitten room as well, because there's just so much information coming in about the wildfires in Maui that there's just so much. So I still have too much. However, I think the way that I have this set up is logical. I do have a few TickToks that I was able to find that give a better perspective. And I think the most powerful TickTok I found was an airline passenger videoed the wildfires from above. So they were on a plane and they could see the wildfires burning below. It's quite powerful, to say the least. So before we start, let me just say hello. So Bash, as always. Jenny, hello. Laugh at Life, Desiree, Rowdy, Gypsy Rose. Yes, I'm good, although I ate too much. So I had chicken tenders, like I always do, because I'm lazy and I don't cook. But you know when you have like normally I only eat 5 or 6 because they're like the little ones. And there was only 2 left in the package. So I was like, I'm not going to just leave the 2 in the package. I'm going to cook them all. Well, then I ate them all. And now I have a stomach ache. So lesson learned. I should have just left the 2 that I wasn't going to eat in the freezer. But no, I had to make them, and then I ate them because I was hungry, because I hadn't eaten because we were live with Crimes and Fashion. So I was like, oh, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. And so hopefully I have my water. Oh, damn it. Hold on, y'all. I will be right back. All right, well, good thing I said I have my water, because I didn't have my water. I went in the kitchen to get more ice and more water, and I came back in without it. So now I have it. I'm all good. Let's see. Oh, good, Rowdy. You did see the link. Perfect. Hi, Jane says. Sinner. Chair of Bowlies. Hello. Oh, and I guess I'm caught up already. Perfect. So, like I said, this is probably, I've probably got around 60 minutes in clips, which it's a lot. I know. But like I said, there's so much information coming in, and the next press conference isn't until 3 a.m. Eastern. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be awake at that time. So, oh no, it wasn't a kitty fight. Oh no, they're happy. They've all eaten. Although when I was eating my chicken, I had 2 of them here. And I was like, no, you need to go away. You had your dinner. This is my dinner. So shoo. Hey, Elaine. So we'll see, depending on what they say in the press conference. I may just post it on my community page. I don't know if I will go live. It depends. But I did have in the description, well, in the title, I said viewer discretion advised, but in the description, I also had said some viewers may find it difficult to watch because it is heartbreaking. However, the stories are important, and I'm here to share them. There is one story I will say that I got upset with. It's very sad. However, I think everything that the clips that I picked are important. And someone had mentioned yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, that I wonder, or someone had made a comment that Oprah probably left the island on her private jet. And she may have. However, she was back handing out pillows and blankets and other necessities to those that have been displaced in one of the shelters. I don't know if she went to all of the shelters, but I know that she was at one of the shelters. So I do have a clip of that kind of just shows her, talking to people, handing out pillows, getting people set up. So I thought, that was a good thing too. Before we start though, and I guess oh wait, never mind. Okay, so I'm actually going to share this instead. So this is from Hawaii News Now, and this was an article that I just found. Well, I just found it, but it was from about 3 hours ago. But it was updated. Well, actually, let me refresh. We'll see. Okay, so it was updated 23 minutes ago. And I chose this because they had an interview with the governor And I thought it would be a good thing to start with him just discussing the updates. The link for County of Maui, Hawaii is in the description as well. And they have been doing consistent updates. So if you're interested, the link is there. But when I found this, I was like, we're just going to watch this video instead of me reading the update.
Told you.
Needed development for Lahaina residents.
Governor Josh Green told us about it live this morning right here on Sunrise.
Families will be able to get back into Lahaina today. The mayor will be announcing the ability for people to go back in, to go to their homes, to go check on whatever was lost, and people will be able to get out too, to get more water and services.
Curfews will be put into place in Lahaina as people return. As search and rescue teams go into more burned buildings, Governor Green says the current death toll of 55 is expected to rise significantly.
This will bring Hawaii together, believe me, but prepare yourself for the emotional turmoil, because if I feel it, and I have the experience as an emergency guy who saw tragedy over the course of 25 years in a hospital, it will be shocking to a lot of other people.
Governor Green, Mayor Bisson, and Senator Brian Schatz surveyed the damage firsthand in Lahaina. This is new video from their tour of the site as they walk the historic streets, taking in the damage in what looked like a war zone. Governor Green says it's going to take a great deal of time and billions to recover from this disaster. But he adds that Hawaii has support from every level of government. President Biden approved the state's disaster declaration request yesterday, freeing up federal funds and other assistance. Governor Green also asked everyone around the islands to help house people who lost their homes in the fire. They're hoping to get them into hotel rooms.
Yeah. Take a look at this. This is 88-year-old Elaine Nakamura and her daughter Lisa Nihei in a moment of relief after surviving 7 to 8 hours in the water in front of the Lahaina breakwall. Their family tells us that they were trying to escape the flames Tuesday night, but had to abandon their car and jump over the seawall into the ocean. It was a harrowing night with the flames on one side, choppy.
And I do have a few stories that I was able to find through TickTock of individuals who also jumped out of their cars into the water because the fire was about to overtake them.
Waves on the other. Nakamura got help from a good Samaritan who helped her to stay above the water for hours until the Coast Guard rescued them at 2:30 in the morning. They both lost their homes. They were reunited with most of their family around 4:30 Wednesday morning at Maui Prep.
Nakamura's granddaughter and grandson-in-law, Tori and Jeff Tenorio, took these videos and pictures of Lahaina after the fires ripped through. And you can see the complete destruction of the town, ashes covering what was once a vibrant, bustling area. The outlets of Maui gone. Most of the buildings have been leveled by the flames. Now, this family has not been completely reunited. They tell us that they're still missing Nakamura's son, Todd.
Water has been in short supply. Hali'imaile Distillery will be offering it to anyone who needs it today from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. On its website, they say in part, these fires have broken our hearts. However, these fires have not broken our spirit. We're inspired by the people of Hawaii and host culture as businesses and people support one another. Hali'imaile is located on 833 Hali'imaile Road in Makawao. 8:05 right now. Our Daryl Huff is live in Wailuku this morning.
He's been on the island.
And hey, Stella Bella, how are you? And Elaine, I can't remember if I said hello to you, but hello. Sunshine, hello. And thank you. I think it was a pretty good show. Absolutely.
And for the last few days for the disaster. Daryl, what can you tell us?
Hey, I want to mention something. We got a lot of feedback from the public after our last couple of hits when we talked so much about communication. We probably talked too much about communication, and now we're being affected a little bit by weed whackers going on behind us. But I just wanted to emphasize that what we're doing is asking questions that are coming from these folks who are traumatized. They are hungry. They haven't slept. They're wondering where their next meal is coming from. And those are the kind of questions we've been asking. And if we've been aggressive about it, it's because those answers have not been forthcoming. And again, we probably have been talking too much about that because it distracts from the very, very hard work that traumatized first responders are doing, And even what the government is doing, the rallying together of the federal government, the state government, the county government, and all that they're trying to do to get Lahaina back and strong. And I'm very confident Maui will recover. It's an island with very strong economy, very diverse population, many, many intertwined families that are helping out each other. So I just wanted to say the media, we can be seen as vultures or armchair quarterbacks, but really we're just trying to ask questions. And we think it's questions that the public wants asked. And I just wanted to bring that up, folks. Sorry for talking about it anymore.
And I agree with him. That is their job. However, for those of you who were watching with me yesterday, one of the reporters during the press conference, she was from the New York Times. And I just thought that she was very argumentative and disrespectful. I get they have to ask the questions, but to become argumentative with the mayor of Maui just seems a little bit unprofessional, in my opinion.
But we got some feedback. I wanted to respond to it.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And again, Darrell, we know that this comes with the best of intent. You're just trying to get answers to these questions that our viewers have as well. Right. All right, Darrell. Thank you.
And again, sure.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought, Darrell. Sorry.
No, I mean, the only reason we're talking about it is because that's what we're hearing from the radio people and everybody. We just urge that the county do a better job of keeping people informed. That's all. There's just too many unanswered questions. So thanks for letting me spout off a little bit.
All right. Thanks, Darrell.
Thank you.
Check back in with you.
Cute. Okay. So that is some good news that individuals were being allowed back into Lahaina. So Maui County confirmed 2 additional fatalities from the catastrophic Lahaina wildfire on Thursday night, bringing the death toll to 55. The 2 deaths are in addition to 17 fatalities the county confirmed earlier in the day. And again, this was from yesterday. That number is expected to rise significantly as first responders dig through what's left of Lahaina in search of survivors. In a significant development, officials announced families will be able to get back into Lahaina starting at noon Friday, although access to historic Lahaina town will remain restricted. So some good news with that. And I was able, well, not me, someone emailed me an unofficial list of individuals who are missing from Lahaina, and it is astronomical, the number of people who, as of last night, were still missing. It's scary. So we're going to go back to my slideshow. So this video is from TickTock, and this is Dustin Johnson from Reuters, and this man was trying to awaken those that may have been in their boats, whether they were, they lived in their boats, they were whatever. This is him warning them that it is time to go.
Hey, if anybody's still out here, it's time to go. If anybody's still out here, it's time to go. It's time to go. If anybody's still out here, it's time to go. Fire's got Front Street. It's already gone. Hey, do you live on this? Well, on the other side of the big.
Oh, dang it. I'm sorry, y'all. I hit the wrong. So you can hear the wind whipping behind him, and towards the end, you're going to be able to see the smoke just overtake that area.
On the other side of the big tree. Front Street, ABC store, all gone. It's straight north of us. That's the electrical box that's on fire. If you keep going past that, you'll hit the pine trees on the beach. The safe way is the beach. Just stick to the water. Thank you. And if you can, take the breakwater. Actually, don't. You'll lose your footing. If anybody's still out here, it's time to go. If anybody's still out here, it's time to go. Fire's on Front Street. All right, that's our last dump video on this pier today. My Scotch Mist, hope you're still there. Stay boat.
All right. So again, he also said that that is his last dumb video on the pier today. And I'm curious as to yesterday we had talked, or not talked, but we had seen a video of a man who was attempting to save people from the in the water or near the water. So I'm wondering if it's the same. It could be the same man. I don't know, but I thought that was a really good TikTok that was there. Yes, Titanium, I am. That is what officials are saying. Yes. Okay, so this, I believe the next video is of the airline passenger took a video of the fires above. Yes. Okay, so this is from 7 News, and I believe this was an Australian TikTok, Australian news. So again, it says plane passenger films Maui wildfire destruction. So the reason I chose to take this TikTok and use it in my presentation is because there have been some who said, well, why didn't they get out? You know, why did they wait so long? This is what their town looked like. The whole thing is on fire. It's just, yeah. Wow is really all you can say. All right, and that was just a quick little clip of the fires. So now we get into, this is from the Wall Street Journal, and this I chose because it gave a lot of what was happening during the fires, and there is a clip later on where I have some of those who survived who were able to get out. A lot of individuals, based on what this person said that was interviewed, a lot of individuals stayed back because they were watching the fire. And that ultimately may have been what cost them their lives. And to me, that's just really tragic.
This is what Lahaina on the Hawaiian island of Maui looked like on Tuesday night, as deadly wildfires fanned by hurricane winds tore through the historic town.
And so with that being said, someone had to have been in this area to get this footage. I don't believe this is a camera, like a Ring camera. To me, this was someone who had stayed behind and was filming the fires.
It's insane when you can feel the heat from this far away.
These videos, filmed by local resident Richard Conan, show the buildings in his neighborhood engulfed in flames.
It was really, really bad. The big house I walked up to that was just roaring. And
like, that is just, I don't even know the word. I guess wow. Just wow.
Flames. People were walking around talking about losing their homes and not knowing where to go and trying to figure out what to do because there wasn't any kind of coordination. Cell phones had quit working. We couldn't find out from anyone or call anyone.
Have a look-see. This is from...
And so this, he looks like, I believe they call it upcountry. And this, you can just see the line of fire.
A mile away.
3 fires erupted
1 mile
across
away.
Maui this week, killing dozens of people and forcing thousands to flee their homes. Conan was one of them. He managed to pick up his belongings before leaving Lahaina.
I managed to get back and get my friends, but I had to get through a bunch of police checkpoints, and that was a challenge. Grabbed our stuff, whatever we could get. Gave all the water I brought back with me to the people that weren't coming, weren't leaving, they were going to stay.
Conan left Lahaina, but many residents chose to stay. As firefighters contained the blaze, the scale of the destruction became...
And I have to give it to the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if they got these images from people who were in there, if their reporters were able to get in, but some of the images are just stunning. And I mean that in the best way possible, because this is a tragedy. And, you know, there's hundreds missing, if not 1,000. And it just gives you a really clear perspective as to what happened here.
clear. Some 1,000 structures are thought to have been destroyed as the fire swept through Lahaina. Wall Street Journal reporter Alicia A. Caldwell tried to enter Lahaina, but her access was restricted.
For much of the day, as has been the case in the past few days, Lahaina is closed. It's closed to anybody who doesn't live there. Buses carrying evacuees from Lahaina town have been leaving the historic area all day. Traffic into the area is restricted to only emergency personnel, those rescue workers who are moving into the area to try to establish power, recover those who have died, and rescue those who are still missing. Right now, the number of dead has exceeded 50. Authorities expect that to continue to climb as they continue to work through the area.
The governor of Hawaii called the...
And so for those of you who may be seeing some of these images for the first time, this is one that I've shown a lot, is the coastline, just the decimation of a town.
Fires, the worst natural disaster in the state's history, and said it would take years.
Hey Jeannie, thanks for coming in. Oh, and that I forgot I cut off part of it. Okay, so now this gets into those who jumped into the ocean in order to save their lives. So in that first clip that we watched, there was the 80, I believe she was 86 or 88-year-old woman with her I believe granddaughter and other people who had been in the water for hours waiting for rescue. So this video, I'm not sure exactly where this video came from, because some people on TikTok had only 7 seconds. This girl had 14 seconds. I don't know if there's a longer video somewhere that they're clipping from, but this kind of gave an idea of what people were doing in order to save their own lives. Wait, I'm sorry, that's really loud. Annihilation. There we go. That's actually, I think, a better word. And you could see, actually, can I slow TikTok down? Oh, I can slow down TikTok videos. So I'm just going to go, actually, I'll go 3/4 speed. Because one thing, I know it's only 15 seconds, but you can actually see the embers flying into the water from the fire. Oh, so it did loop. Okay. And it's interesting that these people are holding onto a board, because one of the TikToks coming up that I have is actually a man that's interviewed saying that he, his wife, and their 5 children found a board, and that is what they clung to until they were rescued. So I just find it curious that there's a board that there are people clinging on to, trying to escape the fire. Yeah, exactly, Jeannie. Where do you go when the island is on fire? And again, there were places, up country, as they call it, where there's certain areas that weren't on fire. But again, it came so fast and so ferocious that people just didn't have time. So this little boy, this young boy, I believe this is from the Weather Channel. And so this little boy actually also was one who jumped in the water when the flames were going to overtake their cars.
I was just trying to stay in the water.
So it says this teen survived for hours in the ocean after entering the water to evade approaching flames on Maui.
We just had to stay there for about 6 to 7 hours and wait.
So they had to wait about 6 to 7 hours, he says.
For you? Chest deep, the deepest was up to her neck. So
there was no other way.
No, it was either that or stay on the wall or swim. But I don't think any of us could really swim that far because the currents were so strong.
So it says the teen said he was shocked and didn't immediately process all that was happening, which I would probably have been also in shock. Never do I think I would have to jump over a seawall into the ocean to save my own life. Hey, Vic.
I was just thinking about my bag and stuff and just trying to if my dad's okay and everything because I was with my mom and my brother and I couldn't and I was just saying if the car's okay and the house is.
Okay, so that was a really quick interview. And so this next one is the man who this says he, his wife, and 3 kids, but then he mentions that they have 5 children. So I'm thinking that this is a typo, and this came from a woman. It wasn't a news organization. So again, I think the TikToks are coming from certain outlets, and then people are taking them and just reposting them. But this one I thought was important as well because it gives perspective as to what people did to survive.
Real when we saw the flames and I had to think fast. We had to get out. We left our vehicle.
And so this is, I'm not necessarily sure that this is their actual vehicle, but this is, if for those of you who were with me yesterday, we had seen I believe it was a TikTok where you could see the cars on the road where they were seemingly on their way out. And they were just frozen in time. And so it's my opinion that the people in those cars ran to the ocean to escape the fire.
And myself, my wife, and our 5 kids, we all got in the ocean. We found a floating board that we hung onto. And everything we were out there floating, and this is so surreal. And everything was burning around, explosions, cars blowing up, embers flying. We couldn't breathe. We couldn't breathe. There's no air. It's just carbon monoxide, and we held on as best as we could. The final fight, it's survival. My adrenaline was rushing. We had to calm down. I worked in the ER for 15 years. You gotta help. Take deep breaths. You gotta do this. We did. My kids were amazing. They were really good. A few points, my daughter, my little girl, was like, "Daddy, you okay, Daddy?" My other one told her, we can go be okay. They got us. And they're really tired, exhausted, and at some point, this ocean almost sent my kids away a few times, but yeah, we stuck together. We held on. And, we're not gonna die this way. No. And we're here. We're alive.
Yes. So again, just like that other little boy said, the current of the ocean was really strong. So the fact that this man, his wife, and all 5 of his kids were able to hold on and are alive, that's nothing short of miraculous in my opinion. Okay, so this is another man who jumped into the ocean to escape the fire. And I'm not sure. This one isn't very long, I don't think.
Up on top of the roof, and, I battled the fire for about 3 hours.
Let me just... Oh, dang it. I don't think I can... This thing is in the way. Here, I'll do it this way.
Up on top of the roof, and I battled the fire for about 3 hours. I couldn't do it anymore because I didn't have any protection or respiratory stuff.
So describe that to me. You're on the roof trying to fight this fire.
Spraying it down, going with the guard.
And so this man said that he, when the fires were burning, he was on the top of the roof with a garden hose, spraying it, hoping that he would be able to prevent it from overtaking the structure. So it says spraying it down with the garden hose and just going, God, if I just had a fire hydrant, I could really put some water down on the house and probably saved it. I don't necessarily agree with him. However, anything is possible.
Garden hose and just going, God, if I had a fire hydrant and a 2.5-inch hose, I could have really put some water down on the house and probably saved it. And me being a fighter, I just sat there and fought. And then I said, I have to move. I said my physical body is in, and I ran with a lot of heat at my back, and I ran to the ocean and I gave in.
So you literally saved yourself by jumping into the ocean.
Yes.
When you turned around and looked back, what'd you see?
Devastation. Everything gone. Not just mine. There's nothing left. It's like a nuclear bomb went off here. There's nothing left.
Yeah. Super sad. So I believe this is where, yes, so this is where there may be 1 or 2 other TikToks, but I think the majority of the TikToks are done. We get into the news coverage. So again, this is where this thumbnail is what I was referring to before, where I had said a lot of the cars looked as if they were on their way out of town, and the fire just completely overtook them, so they had to jump over the seawall into the ocean.
I'm still in a little bit of shock. Everything happened so quickly and out of nowhere. We never thought it would grow to what it had grown into.
As wildfires burned around him, Bosco Bay Jr. just escaped with his life. He spoke to us from the Walmart in Central Miami.
And I can't imagine, and again, I would get out of Dodge as soon as I could. However, I can't say what I would do in those actual circumstances. I feel like I'm chicken enough that if I hear there's a possibility of a fire, I'm getting out. But I can't talk poorly of those who stayed, hoping that they would be able to save their homes or that the fire wouldn't affect them. And just looking at the video that this man has, I mean, that's really close to the fire. Really close.
Maui.
I mean, we were face to face with fire. I could feel the heat burning, the hairs on my skin. I lost the bottom of my eyelashes. Every single thing around us was on fire, except our building, all my possessions. I mean, everything I basically, have in the world at this point might be gone.
For 2 days now, these deadly massive wildfires have ravaged the island, spurred on by hurricane winds.
This was a home.
Forcing thousands to evacuate.
I've been here for.
And this still, I mean, there's the fireplace of the home, and yet the entire house is completely gone.
48 years and I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
It's the deadliest.
And so here, this is another perspective. And it's just going to see, I can't, this thing is in the way. I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, wait, maybe if I do this. There we go.
In my entire life.
It's
so bizarre to me because this building to the left, I'm sure has damage, but when you look at everything surrounding it, like everything surrounding it is just gone. And then there's this building in the center that seemingly was unaffected. It's just, it reminds me of tornadoes. When tornadoes, they have their path, and there could be one house in that path that for some reason wasn't affected like everything around it.
The deadliest wildfire to strike Hawaii, killing at least 53 people. Authorities estimate around 1,000 people are missing and fear the death toll will continue to rise.
This place has felt like home from the second I got here, and I feel like my childhood home in town has been burnt down to the ground.
Bosco Bay Jr., an Air Force vet who moved to Lahaina 2 months ago, was desperately fighting the inferno for an hour and a half. He says he was one of the last people to escape from the area.
It was.
And that, I mean, that's, yeah, right, Sav? Like, it's just, you'd think that it would just take everything. It wouldn't take everything around something and then leave that something seemingly untouched.
Nobody on the road, nothing but darkness. Every building left and right seemed like it was on fire. Navigated around down power cords, all kinds of things. And slowly we're able to make it basically to safety after a couple miles.
National Guard helicopters have been working around the clock, dropping about 150,000 gallons of water to quench the flames. The island's largest fire now 80% contained, but the humanitarian crisis is just beginning. Thousands displaced, shelters overflowing. The wildfire's destruction centered here in Lahaina, where my colleague Gio Benitez got a firsthand look at the aftermath.
Block after block, just homes. These were once homes, amazing homes right here on Front Street.
And one thing I want to know is why, and I mean, I don't know, it's a genuine question. Why are all of these news and press allowed into Lahaina when the residents or those who live there weren't? They were just allowed into the residents were just actually allowed back about 90 minutes ago. And yet a lot of these videos were from yesterday. So it's just a question I have.
Over here, we have the famous Front Street apartments, and these are just totally burned down.
Anchor David Ono of our Los Angeles station, KABC, on the ground here too.
Right here behind me is a classic Lahaina neighborhood, and as you can see, the devastation is vast. Many homes on this one city block have gone up in flames.
The beloved National Historic Landmark decimated. Rubble covered in soot and ash is all that's left. This once bustling district now a ghost town.
To give perspective, it is going to take many years to rebuild Lahaina.
Aerial photos showing the lush landscape of what.
And again, here is the banyan tree. And then this mansion in front of it. And then the after is
what Lahaina looked like before, and the catastrophic aftermath, smoke choking the
and I meant to, here we go. Actually, I gotta go just this.
Aftermath, smoke choking the town, now razed to the ground.
When I see the aerial views of everything gone, you know, I literally see all my friends and communities and neighbors' homes like completely gone.
18-year resident Kelly Chapman's business and home, also one of those heaps of charred earth seen from above.
I have moments of deep gratitude and moments of just absolute despair.
We're working as quickly as possible to fight these fires and evacuate residents and tourists.
President Biden today declaring Maui a major disaster area and mobilizing the military to fight any fires still raging.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately.
People who live near the road out of Lahaina, like Kayla Shaw and her family, helping their neighbors.
A lot of them left Lahaina with nothing. They had absolutely nothing. They just had to run from the flames. All we can do is hold them and offer them everything that we possibly have as they transition through and figure out what's next.
Shaw providing for more than 10 families now staying at her home.
The Hawaiian thinking is you come from the heart and you come from the na'au, which is your instinct and your gut. And when we feel moved to help people, we don't ignore those feelings.
Here they have access to the basics they lost: food, water, clothing. And in local fashion, with the aloha spirit, they're treated like family.
Everyone's still in shock. Nobody revisited their homes yet. So everyone's kind of just still processing how they survived that experience.
Shaw runs the Maui Museum, and she says what Lahaina has lost is irreplaceable.
Lahaina was a huge...
And so here's another shot of, this is towards more the front, but there's that building that is seemingly not affected.
Place for our identity. And we think about our children and being able to take them back to places where their ancestry comes from. The things that we've lost in Lahaina is so emotional because it's personal.
Among the evacuees who jumped into the ocean to escape the blaze, a 7-year resident of the island, Sean Doherty, and his girlfriend.
And I will say, this is the video that really got to me, this man's story. So again, thank you for those of you who have come in. I do have, actually I don't have it. I had it in the title, but viewer discretion advised. Some content may be distressing for some. This man's story is what really, really got me this morning when I was watching it.
One point, it seemed like I might drown a little bit. I inhaled a lot of water.
He attempted to get out of the water, but the hot pavement burned his feet, leaving him with second-degree burns. Sean was rescued and taken to a shelter, separated from his girlfriend amidst the chaos. He doesn't know if she survived and has no way of contacting her family.
Your family lives only a mile away from us, and that whole neighborhood is probably gone, and they have 2 small children, so I'm really concerned about them.
Sean is just one of so many trying to find their missing loved ones. My colleague Gio Benitez spoke to Stephen Scott, a Maui resident, yesterday who was desperately searching for his wife, Patricia.
I know she's safe. I think she's safe, but I haven't found her yet.
He's one of the lucky ones, today, finally reunited. On the other side of the island, in Kula, about an hour away from Lahaina, devastation from a different fire.
Tree fell over, hit the power lines, and that's what started the fire.
We got all out, we got the cat. That's the most important things. Like, everyone's safe.
Sabrina Fellman's home was burned to its foundation.
We bought it there 8 years ago. It was a complete fix.
And so this is the Kula fire. So there were 3 major fires burning on Maui. There was the Kalaina. Is it Kalaina? Kalaina. No, it's not. Why am I forgetting the name of this town? Kalaiha. Hang on, y'all. I'm having a brain fart and I don't like it. Lahaina. I don't know why I had a K in there. Lahaina fire, and then there was the Kula fire, and then there was the Olinda fire. Oh wow. Hey Sofa Mama. That is good. Jeff Bezos donated $100 million to the relief.
Fixer upper. We spend every weekend fixing it up. Yeah. We're gonna start from scratch, it's fine.
All that's left fits in this plastic bag. But she and her husband Andre had lost their wedding rings too. Andre digging with his bare hands trying to find them. An hour later. Any luck with the ring?
Yes!
You found it? Both? Oh, can we see?
At least one. We're still looking
Oh
for the
my
other one.
gosh.
It doesn't look like much right now.
Wow.
But it's here.
Wow.
You can even see the engravings.
We're good.
With authorities urging people to get off the island, busloads raced to the airport, only to be stranded as flights were delayed or canceled. Overnight, many taking temporary refuge inside the terminal. Authorities still don't know what sparked the flames, but experts say low humidity.
Wow. So this looks like the Kula fire. But that's crazy.
Dry vegetation and gusts of up to 85 miles an hour fueled the spread of the deadly inferno.
And that's why Maui County had such a hard time doing containment of the fire. And because the winds were so high, we couldn't provide the helicopters to do the water bucket support.
For locals and people who grew up here, like.
And I'm really glad, let me just back it up a little bit. I'm glad that he said that, because there's a lot of, especially us on the mainland, who feel that more could have been done to prevent these fires. However, with gusts of up to 85 miles an hour and it seemingly spreading within seconds, yes, they're surrounded by water, but when you can't get helicopters up with water to try to fight the fire, it's not gonna happen. You can only do so much.
Deadly inferno.
And that's why Maui County had such a hard time doing containment of the fire. And because the winds were so high, we couldn't provide the helicopters to do the water bucket support.
For locals and people who grew up here, like me, Maui is simply ohana, family and home, and a living monument of the island's rich, noble roots. Lahaina was once the capital of the old Hawaiian kingdom in the early 19th century.
Lahaina was the first seat of government for our ali'i. And the term ali'i is in reference to chiefs and chiefesses. So the governing class and the ruling class of our people, our Hawaiian people.
Centuries of history and artifacts reduced to ashes, like Lahaina's most notable landmark, its 150-year-old banyan tree. It was the largest in the nation.
We're talking historical documents, books, rare books. We're talking about also the places that we consider historical in that town, churches, schools, cemeteries. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, the tremendous loss. We're talking, people, their home.
So Sav says, I've met the Erickson Air Crane team when they were in Australia, and they even said in foreign countries they've had to fly over borders illegally to save regions in some countries they service. Wow. And again, access to the Erickson air cranes and even tugboats, spray water. I don't know about Erickson air cranes in the United States. But I can say with almost 100% certainty that everything that could have been done was done to save this town. Just based on everything that I have seen and read. It's like the paradise. If those of you who have not heard of the campfire in Paradise, California, I would implore you to watch videos on that, because that is another fire that I just looked it up this morning. I believe it was 88 people lost their lives in the campfire. It was either 85 or 88 people lost their lives in the campfire. And that fire, again, was spread astronomically because of high winds. And so we can judge and say things could have been done. It's my opinion, and again, my opinion alone, that everything that they could have done was done to save the people of that town.
Their traditions that they have passed down from generation to generation.
Hallowed relics they can't get back.
Everyone needs to understand our plight. And we ask you, if you have resource, if you have a connection or a desire to kokua, support us and help us, this is the time.
And in the description, I also put a link to a newspaper article that I was able to find online that if you are looking to help, there are tons of organizations that you can donate to. I also have a link to the Maui Humane Society, which we are going to see a video about the animals and the animals affected by this. I did give a donation personally to the Maui Humane Society that will go directly to helping animals affected by the fire, reunifying them with their owners, and just taking in any animal, no questions asked, that comes in and needs help. And so again, those links are all in the description already. So I would definitely take a look at them if you so choose.
In the face of tragedy and devastation that now haunts the island, the Maui community resilient. Volunteers, many of whom had lost their own homes, taking care of one another as they wait to return to their neighborhoods.
It's still paradise, and we'll rebuild, and it'll become bigger and better like anything that rises from the ashes. That's what I truly believe.
Our thanks to Becky. And joining me now is Richard Bisson, Mayor of Maui County. Mayor, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Well, I know that you and the governor got a firsthand look at the devastation. He called it a heartbreaking day. What did you see?
We saw what used to be a...
I appreciate that, Slime. And yes, for those of you who may not know about the campfire, please take a look at it, because I think it will help you see just the magnitude of how big this was. And I think this is almost done. There's only a couple of minutes left of this clip. I'm going to go back to the slide of the airline passenger, because I know some of you may have come in late. And I think that TickTock that I found gives you a complete perspective of what was happening when it was happening.
Vibrant town, full of residents, full of visitors, turned into a ghost town. There are no more buildings. Cars are still in the road, some with doors open, indicating people had to run. And what's left is very little of what it used to be.
Indeed, heartbreaking. With the island's hospitals overwhelmed and so many residents displaced, you said everything's gone in that one area. What are your priorities tonight?
Well, our priorities is to continue to fight fires. They are not completely contained. Next is to save lives, if we can. Find people who may have sheltered somewhere, if we find them. If not, recover those folks that may have perished so that we can bring closure to their families. Then, of course, we are trying to assess the amount of damage and what it will take to clear the debris.
And there's that picture that was the thumbnail and that we had seen yesterday. And you can see the ocean just to the right, the middle right. And you can see the part of the seawall. So this is where I believe that many of the people in these cars left their cars and jumped in the ocean to save themselves.
And to rebuild, we absolutely will we will rebuild. That will become our focus.
Your fellow officials have said that 2,000 rooms are needed for housing. How do you plan to get all those folks housed?
Well, we have a few options. The one the governor talked about today was perhaps with the help of either state funds or FEMA funds or any other federal funds that are opened up as a result of the president's declaration of an emergency, would be perhaps those hotel rooms, if we can get power and water back onto them, that were once used by visitors. Someone had a creative idea today of maybe short-term rentals or vacation rentals being used as longer-term rentals for our residents.
Well, Mayor, thank you for joining us. We know you haven't slept in days, so we wish you and all the residents of Maui County well. Thank you.
Yes, and Vic, I don't think anyone is, I don't believe anyone would be prepared for a fire of that magnitude. And so I'm going to actually bring us back. I think it was this one. Nope, I got to go back one more. Here we go. So this I found this video on TikTok. And this video was taken by an airplane passenger. Oh, geez. No worries, Team Brittany, and welcome. This gives you a perspective of what was going on and why, what am I trying to say? Why just, like a fire call, like just having a fire, first responders show up wasn't going to have the impact that, right. And I can agree with that, Vic. Who thinks that a fire is going to burn down the entire town? Yeah. At the same time, no one expects a fire to overtake their town as fast as this one did. And so I'm just going to play this. I might play it twice just because it is only a few seconds long. All right, I'm going to just play it once more. And that video was from Australian news. And so I'm glad whoever posted that from Australian news on TikTok, because that helps. So I believe, yes, that's the one we just, right, wrong one. All right, so this is from the Associated Press, and we have a few more videos to get through, but again, I think depending on what more updates we have, I may do small updates on the wildfires, but nothing like I have been, because I feel like now it's just, recovery, rebuilding, being able to get people what they need, and helping them, figure out what they're going to do next with everything being completely gone. Hey, Leo. How are things? Yeah, I agree, Team Brittany. The hurricane winds definitely did not help either. I mean, 85 miles an hour, that's fast. Slime News, the winds were upwards of 85 miles per hour. So there was a hurricane. Hurricane Dora was to the south. High pressure was to the north. And I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not a weather expert. However, there are videos. There was one that I showed, I believe, yesterday that talks about how it was. I mean, I hate to use the word perfect storm, but all of these environmental factors came together, and that's what caused such devastation. Yeah. Yeah, it was category 1 winds.
Lived on Maui for about
And so this, I chose this because this woman kind of talks about those people who decided to stay back even after they saw the fire. And so this video, again, viewer discretion is advised. There may be some things stated by this lady that could be distressing.
20 years now. I own a business called Whaler's Locker. It's an old family business on Front Street in Lahaina. It was established in 1971. As I walked, though, it started getting worse. Power lines down.
And so here, actually, this photo is similar to the one from before, but you can see the seawall a lot easier in this picture. So you have the ocean on the right, and then you have the seawall, and then you can see where cars were trying to get out, and they either lost their lives where they were, or they were able to jump into the ocean and survive.
And then started to see smoke, and I mean, there was smoke everywhere, but it was getting thicker, and cars burned and apartment complexes burned. And the further we got on the Front Street, the more devastating it was. Just everything leveled, but not just Front Street, it's everywhere. Looking up the hillside, all the homes are gone, all the buildings are gutted. It looks like a war zone, like from just total destruction.
All right, I'm just going to move back because I actually didn't see all of this. Let me go back a little bit. I was looking at chat. So, Leo, are you talking about the Maui fire? Hey, Spring Tea, what's going on? Actually, this video, I believe, did I show that part, or was that just before? Yeah, it was just before. So I'm going to actually go back a little further. So this, I believe, and this is just my belief, I don't know, but this is where the cars were lined up attempting to leave Lahaina. And I did show an interview earlier. So for those of you just coming in, I definitely would recommend going back to the beginning, because I did do my presentation in chronological order as best I could. And a lot of the TickToks I was able to find talked about, I had 3 stories, short clips of people who actually were in their cars attempting to leave, and the fire came so quickly that they jumped out of their cars and into the ocean. So I would definitely go back and check those out, because it gives a little bit more of perspective as to what may or may not have happened. So to answer your question, Spring Tea, I don't know. I hope that everyone was able to get out of their cars and made the decision to jump into the ocean to save themselves. But again, the fire moved so fast, I can't say.
Started getting worse, power lines down, and then started to see smoke. And I mean, there was smoke everywhere, but it was getting thicker, and cars burned and apartment complexes burned. And the further we got on the Front Street, the more devastating it was. Just everything leveled, but not just Front Street, it's everywhere. Looking up the hillside, all the homes are gone, all the buildings are gutted. It looks like a war zone, like from just total destruction.
Okay, so Spring Tea, that actually answered my question. I had missed this part because I was looking at chat. Miss Wynn saw corpses inside vehicles in the body of a person who died near the shoreline. So to answer your question, unfortunately, not everyone was able to escape their cars.
to our knowledge, 3 folks who didn't make it, and some, animals, people's pets, things like that. It was really heartbreaking. So there was like fire flare-ups happening around the neighborhoods because there was still a lot of fuel and a lot of live fire around the area when we were walking through it. So the smoke was getting stronger, but lots of like chemical smell, diesel smell, especially down by the boat ramp. A lot of diesel was spilled in the harbor, and then just like a noxious chemical smoke smell. Over the course of the walk, maybe about a dozen people.
Oh, yes. And don't worry, Leo. I do the same thing. I probably should check mine. I am on all messages. But yes, live chat reminder if you're on your computer or laptop. All messages reminder if you're on your phone. I don't know why YouTube defaults to top messages or top chat, but they do. So, yes. Always check, because especially if you don't see chat moving very quickly. I mean, there's a small group in here, so it's not going to move as quick as, some of my lives about Betty. But if you don't see chat moving, or if you don't see it moving like it normally does, always go and double check, because that's my first clue is I'm like, why isn't chat moving? Oh, because I'm on top chat, not all chat. Yes. Yes, Leo, I do have a clip because someone had mentioned Oprah in one of my earlier lives. And so when I was going through to find the footage I wanted to talk about, I just clipped a part of the news coverage that showed Oprah at one of the shelters handing out pillows and blankets and talking to the residents who were at the shelter and just being a really good human being. So I do have that coming up.
Also walking around. One gentleman we walked past was sitting in a lawn chair on the sidewalk across from where his house was, and just sitting there, like just looking at the remains and nothing left. All he had was the lawn chair he was sitting on, really, in like a small backpack. Lahaina is such a special place, and not just for the people that live there, but for so many people that sorry, I'm holding it together, but I'm on the edge. For the community and for all of the islands, and for so many visitors that come see us every year, it's the historic significance and just the memories there. If anything's going to happen anywhere, I'd want to be living here for it, because the people are.
So Leo, I'm curious, how close is Oprah's home to where Lahaina is? Is it close, or is it on like the other side of the island?
Such a tight community, and all look out for each other.
Okay. All right, so now we get into more of the stories of those who survived the fires, who were able to evacuate. And again, I want to reiterate that some of the content that we hear may be distressing. However, it is my opinion that it needs to be heard. Okay, not close at all. Other side. Upper Kulaway over above Makina.
Joining us now is Tracy Gaither. She is from California, but was visiting Lahaina with her husband for their wedding anniversary. Tracy, we're so glad that you and your husband are safe right now, but tell us what you are experiencing at this moment. We understand you're still in your hotel in Lahaina.
Yes, we're in our hotel. We have no electricity. We have no hot water. There's about 20% occupancy still, and the Royal Lahaina Resort is graciously letting all of its employees who've lost their homes, which is almost everyone I've spoken to, stay here indefinitely until they need to. But we are safe.
Hey, Lux, welcome. Vic, I don't believe she does. I did watch part of this, not all of it. to me, this woman was very empathetic. She seemed very caring. So definitely not one of those who, you know, was complaining and being just rude.
Because we were just about 6 miles north, but the stories I've heard from people, like employees here, and then people that were totally lost their homes and everything they own. A lady I spoke to named Etna, she lived right in the condos across from Fleetwood's, and there's about 20 occupants there. And when she heard the howler winds coming down the mountain, and that she said the trees were bowing down to the ground, and she could see smoke first coming down, and then the fires. They saw the fires within 10 minutes. They were down the hill. People were in their cars to get out, and were lining the streets in just.
Oh, wow. So that is a perspective I did not see before. So again, here's the seawall, which I didn't realize the seawall was as high as it is. I thought the ocean was much closer, but I'm not good at estimating, but I would say that's probably like 8 feet from top to bottom, maybe 6 feet. I mean, it's not a little jump, that's for sure. And you can see the cars just lined up as they were trying to escape.
Rows of cars, and as the fire came down, she was straddling a rock in the water. She jumped into the ocean and was holding on so that the embers would be put out when the fire hit her, and the cars all started exploding. And I know that you guys have a small number of fatalities, but from what I'm hearing from the employees here and their families that are on their side, it's hundreds of people that were trapped in their cars that couldn't get out. They wanted to watch the fires.
Oh my gosh. So there's another perspective. And I don't know, Leo, how many roads, I'm just curious, how many roads are there to leave Lahaina? Is there just one main road, or are there, you know, obviously with the fire, depending where it started, other roads may have been impassable, but it's just that visual right there is just devastating.
That's what she said, and sit with the air conditioning on. And luckily she and about 30 other people jumped over the wall by the Cheeseburger in Paradise, and they were just holding onto the rocks, and the waves were keeping them wet until they survived.
This is just right out of a horror movie, Tracy, and it sounds it's.
So I guess, Leo, what I'm asking is, so Front Street, obviously Front Street was a main thoroughfare, like a main roadway. Were there other main roadways to leave? Or was there seemingly only one main road to leave Lahaina? Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes. So you answered my question. Only 2 ways out of Lahaina, north or south, but the ocean has eaten part of the road, so they built the bypass that's above. Front Street sits along the ocean. Oh, gotcha. Little streets come off of it, but they all go to the same place. Okay, thank you. That's what my question was. So there was really only one way out of Lahaina.
Sounds like you're describing this could be absolutely even far worse than our worst fears in terms of how many people may have been trapped in their cars.
It is. I'm telling you, it is. They couldn't get out, and we are locked in our resort. There's police guarding the entrance to our resort. If we leave, we can't get back in. They want to stop looters, of course. So if you leave, you can't come back. And so my husband has been giving a couple people our room number so they can go get food, because our resort is only giving food to guests so they can preserve it for as long as they can. And
right, but a main road that would get you out of Lahaina. Yes, and I'm so glad that we can agree to disagree. Yes. Yes, Remy, and that's what I was thinking, like with the hurricane routes. There's usually only one way in or out, and when everyone is trying to get out, that causes gridlock even more. And unfortunately, you always have, even on the highway, you have that one person who either stops or is going slow, and others are trapped behind them. So it's just sad all around for sure.
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Tracy Gaither, we're glad you're safe, but we're so sorry for everybody affected, and we know you're surrounded by them. So please pass along our best. Tracy Gaither, who is right there in Maui.
Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into, this is a clip that I found that describes the shelters. So I was going to try to pronounce that, but I'm going to try. Kahaliakiola Homeless Resource Center. And Leo will tell me how well I did. But I did get Banyan Tree. I've got that down, Leo, so you'll be very proud of me.
I'm Rick Kwan.
And I'm Mika Miyashima. If you're just joining us, here are the top 4 headlines you need to know tonight. The Lahaina fire is shaping up to be one of the deadliest fires in modern U.S. history. The county today confirming at least 53 people are confirmed dead and many more are still missing. Almost all of Lahaina is wiped out. Take a look at the images there. The state confirming 270 structures either damaged or destroyed. Firefighters are still working to put out the blaze, confirming 80% of the fire is now contained.
Access to Lahaina is still closed and only emergency traffic is being allowed through. Drivers can leave West Maui through Lahaina bypass only. Only Kahakuloa residents can leave through Waihe'e. Boaters and helicopter companies are also pitching in to help with evacuations.
An unofficial list shows hundreds of people are still missing and hundreds others hoping to find their loved ones. To help, the county opened a family assistance center at the Kahului Community Center for people who are searching for their
Oh my God. Why? Why? Okay, so I'm just going to kind of say quickly what I was saying. Yes, I was muted. My bad. Okay, Leo. Yes, thank you for stopping in. Get some rest. Yes. I'm not muted anymore. I unmuted. Everyone should be able to hear me. If you can't hear me, then I am not sure what's happening. I don't know how I got muted. I didn't mute. I was playing the video and then I paused it to talk. Oy vey. Okay. Well, what I was saying, because Spring Tea had asked, are missing people too, or people missing too? And so I had said initially, and not to compare to the campfire in Paradise, California, but it's seemingly very similar because it was super fast in how it moved because of the winds. And so initially with the campfire, there were hundreds of people unaccounted for. And there was a list that was going, I believe it was on Facebook at one point. And so a lot of the names were repetitive. So once they got rid of the duplicates, it went down a little bit. Well, as people were able to communicate more, they got where they were able to locate their loved ones or, say, hey, I'm okay. I believe it was 88 people total lost their lives in the campfire. And this Maui fire reminds me a lot of the Paradise, California fire, because the winds there were also very strong. And the fire was just, like someone had mentioned, the fireballs. The fire just spread super fast. And people did lose their lives in their cars. In the Paradise fire, a lot of them were still sleeping because it was around 7 a.m., I believe. So, and there wasn't really any warning because it spread. And that was actually caused by, and I don't remember the name of the power company in California, but they had done something that caused a spark that caused the fire to begin in the first place. And I don't remember the name of the power company, but I do know that they were held responsible for that fire. How to gift membership on iPhone. If you click on, I don't know iPhone, I have an Android. I only know the link to join, which I see you are a member, Leo. So there should be, if there is, like on my phone, I see super sticker, super chat membership, which obviously I'm not a member of my own channel. And then membership gifting. And then if I hit gifting, it gives me the option to gift memberships. But iPhone, if there's anyone, iPhone, you have to be on your PC to gift memberships. Okay. Gotcha. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Their family members and are still unaccounted for. The center is open until 8 o'clock tonight. It'll reopen tomorrow from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening. American Red Cross is also assisting. They have a hotline for missing persons. That number is 800-733-2767.
Among the structures lost during the Maui wildfires was the Westside Shelter Center in Lahaina. Operated by Kahale Akeola Homeless Resources Center, it provided affordable and transitional housing for more than 140 people. Now joining us live is the Emergency Shelter Program Director, Kurt Schmidt. Thank you so much for joining us. I know it's a very difficult time. Well, last night
and I'm wondering if it's because I'm a smaller channel that maybe that's why. Oh no, and I just got Oh, I just got an alert on my phone. There are now 67 confirmed deaths from the wildfires in Hawaii, making the Lahaina fire the state's deadliest natural disaster. And I'm just going to read this because this is on my phone. At least 67 people have died in the raging wildfires that torched the Hawaiian island of Maui, and officials expect the toll to rise. Without a doubt, there will be more fatalities, Governor Josh Green said Friday. Residents of the hard-hit town of Lahaina were allowed to return to their homes today. He cautioned, quote, "They will see destruction like they've not ever seen in their lives," end quote. The governor told CNN he's ordered a comprehensive review of the state's actions in the hours after the fires broke out, including why warning sirens were not used to alert residents on Maui. So there is one thing that I believe some of us had questioned yesterday. I don't know about so much today, but again, the governor has said he's ordered a comprehensive review of the state's actions in the hours after the fires broke out, including why warning sirens were not used to alert residents on Maui. And then they have, this is from CNN, they also have a link to where you can help, but it doesn't look like they have as much as the article that I posted in the description. So sadly, there have been another 12 fatalities confirmed, which is very sad. Very sad.
Executive director got to see what was left of the center in Lahaina. I know you saw some of the photos as well. How would you describe what has happened over there?
Very surreal, very almost something that you wouldn't expect to see. So it was very disheartening and upsetting, not to just us, but to our families and participants as well.
How important was this facility for the Lahaina community?
Well, it was essential to that area, to the west side of the island. I mean, with the 9 structures we had on site, we had 48 units for our families and couples, plus our dormitories.
So that is actually, I didn't even notice till just now. That is the Homeless Resource Center. That is what's left of it. Nothing.
Setting, and then also 30 units of affordable housing. So it was important to the folks that were living out there because they live in the community, they're contributing to the community, and they're part of that.
You said you were not at the site the day the fire hit, but more than 200 people had to be evacuated, and some are now missing?
Ugh.
Yes. So we were fortunate to have 3 staff on site that day before, they closed the roads where we couldn't get in or out. And, right now we've been focusing on contacting all of our families if they haven't made it to our shelter here in Wailuku, but we're probably have 8 to 10 families and individuals that we haven't been able to reach yet. And so
and that's really scary that there's 8 to 10 individuals or families they have not been able to reach yet. That's very, very scary.
We're believing that they're safe, and it's just without the electricity, without communication with the cell towers, we're doing everything we can to make contact with them, reaching their emergency contacts, trying to find people that know them just to at least tell us that they're safe.
Well, with this facility now burned down, where are the residents being taken to?
Okay. So with the families and participants and individuals at the shelter, we're bringing them into our facility here in Wailuku. We have 72 units here on site, plus our dormitories.
Oh, wow. So there is what it looked like before. That is the Homeless Resource Center before the fires hit.
And then we also have 300 units of our affordable housing next door as well. So we're bringing everybody in, trying to provide, an opportunity for them to relax and then to get them into units so they can just, take a moment for themselves and just pause. Very traumatic experience for everyone that day.
I'm sure we just saw some pictures of what the center looked like before the fire. So,
Hey, Stella Bella, you're welcome. I try my best. Like I said at the start of this live, there's just so much out there, and I knew I couldn't show everything, so I just had a plan in my head. And I hope I put this in an order that makes sense, and that hopefully by the end we will all know how we can help, if we can help, and just, this is where, the, recovery is still happening. Reunification is still happening. Rebuilding has started. There was a video that I watched. I'm not sure if I have it in my live for tonight, but you could hear the chainsaws. You could hear, people starting to clean up. So it's just, I'm glad. I wish I didn't have to talk about it, but the fact that I can bring awareness to something that is affecting fellow Americans is important to me. And Amberly, that is what officials are saying, that there could be upwards of 1,000 that are currently unaccounted for. There is an unofficial Google document that was shared with me yesterday, was emailed to me. And so I was going through it, and on the list, there are hundreds of people who have been unaccounted for. However, I am hopeful that the reason the list is so long is because of communication issues, not knowing where people may have escaped to, not being able to communicate because of, the cell towers being down, things like that. But I just got an alert, and now I forgot the number. Was it 77? I'm just going to check again. I don't want to misquote it. I'm sorry, 67. So the confirmed fatalities did increase to 67. And that was an alert I just got through CNN on my phone. And as it was 55 when I started my live. There is going to be another press conference at 9 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern. So I will not be covering the press conference. However, depending on what information is given and what, if there's any new information, I may have a short live tomorrow. I don't know. I may just post it on my community page like I did earlier today. I might just put updates on there. So definitely, if you're interested in following this story, definitely check out my community page, because I try to, update things there.
So what can people do to help?
Bella, you really did not have to do that. But thank you. I so much appreciate that. And so do the kittens. Yes, thank you. I love your channel and I love the chat. Blessings to all. XOXO. You are really sweet. Really sweet. And speaking of the kittens, I'm going to write myself a note. I have to post the picture. So as you know, Bash the Tragedy Pimps is in love with Schmeg. And she calls him Hot Mess. And so today he actually was sniffing me, because I go in there and I lay on the floor and I just pretend they're not there. And then they come and sniff me, or, Dyson was actually, I go in there with my iPad. And so he's like trying to paw the game I'm playing. And so like, I'll try to pet him and he's like, all like, don't touch me, lady. Well, today I didn't know where Schmeg was. And so I looked, he was on the very top perch of their cat tree. And so I was like, I see you up there. They're so cute. So I'm going to write myself a note to add some kitten photos later because we need some kitten photos. I haven't posted any in a long time. Yes, incredibly generous and appreciated, but you really just being here is enough.
You know, I know there's been a lot of websites and contact information that people can, you know, look for, but I know with, you know, with our agency, with our website, people can go to there at khako.org or find us on Facebook or Instagram. So there's opportunities with our list of donations that, you know, that we need. Our biggest things right now is, you know, people were coming here that, you know, they just had to close it.
Ugh, that cart. And I waited too long. Like, just completely a shell.
Biggest things right now is, you know, people were coming here that, you know, they just had the clothes that they were wearing that day because they had to, you know, they were able to get out. So just the basic necessities with, you know, with clothes, hygiene products, and then also just with us getting them set up in our units, just being able to equip them so that they can start over.
Yeah. Speaking of starting over real quick, do you plan to rebuild on that site again?
You know, at this point, you know, it's too early, but I mean, that's the property that, you know, that we've, you know, that we're working with. I know one of the positive things that came out last night when our executive director came out is that, you know, our sign at the beginning of our property is still intact. And so, you know, I think that's a great sign for us because that means that, you know, we need.
Wow. And to think about that, so the entire center was destroyed, yet the sign saying what their organization was unharmed. And like he's saying, if that's not a sign, I don't know what is.
We need to be back in that community. We'll just have to take it, you know, day by day until we can, you know, get more information.
Okay, thank you so much, Kurt Smith. Thank you for giving us your time and best of luck in getting this program going again.
Okay. And yes, I'm trying to get Schmeg and Dyson adopted together because they are besties, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so now I don't remember why I put this one in here, but there had to be a reason. So again, this is from Hawaii News Now. And every time I make tea, I think of you, Emmy. I have a Schmeg kettle. So when I got them, and I'm sure some of you have heard the story, but I'm going to say it again. So we got a call that a girl had a mama cat and babies who Decker must have had her babies underneath their house. It's a raised ranch, and they have, like, you know, you can get underneath whatever. So one day she hears meowing, little meows, and she's like, what? So there was this mom and 5 babies. And so when I went to get them, the mom, you know, Decker was super friendly. So I always pick a theme when I name the kittens. And so the mom, obviously we could get. The babies, when we attempted to get them, ran into an old dryer vent. So they were inside the dryer. And so this woman's husband and her son come out, and they take the whole dryer apart because they're trying to get these kittens out. Well, they were behind the fan. So there was no way to get the kittens. So eventually, we were able to get 2 of them because the 2 that got stuck at the end, we could get them. The other 3, including Schmeg was actually naughty. He's a hider and a hisser. When I first got them, he was very skittish. Dyson too. So that's why I'm still working with them too, because they were the first to hide. So the theme was dryer brands. So Mama's Decker for Black & Decker. She's black. So I called her Decker. And then there was Electrolux and Biko. Those two went home together. Dust Bunny, she was like Smeg, only female. And so now I have Schmeg and Dyson left. So yes, they were all named after dryer brands. And I had never heard of Biko. I had never heard of Schmeg. But now I have, because they were named after it. Oh yeah, Dust Bunny. So Dust Bunny, there is a picture of Dust Bunny on my community page. Gosh, she was the first adopted, and she was super friendly. So she went probably about, actually she went 2 weeks after I got them, because we have them for a 2-week quarantine, and then they can be adopted out. And so she went really quick. And then Electrolux and Biko went probably just about a week and a half ago. Yep. Leo, you're back. I thought you were gone for the night, but welcome back.
Our Lynn Kawano is live.
Okay, this is why I picked this one. So this is where they are at one of the shelters, and this is a short clip that talks about Oprah.
At a new family assistance center in Kahului with more on the desperate effort to reunite families. Lynn?
Ke'ahi, the center opened midday, and since then a steady stream of people have come to fill out forms of the missing persons, and it's heartbreaking to hear the stories of their search.
They were driving out from the fire from town.
Juan De Leon and Eddie Castillo tried to evacuate Lahaina Tuesday. They were following other family members in a separate car, but the two men didn't make it out.
So far, we've been looking in the hospitals, shelters and places, and haven't found him yet.
The last time we saw him was when we first got evacuated.
Liza Tobias is looking for her father, Carlo. He refused to evacuate with her. She's hoping he changed his mind and caught a ride out after she left. This is all that's left of their home.
Because of the phone service, she's not on any of the lists for Maui Prep or for the Civic Center.
Melinda Young is hoping.
So Leo, I have seen the group on Facebook. I don't know what the name of it was, but I do have a news clip on the Maui Humane Society. And I also have a link to the Maui Humane Society in the description that I put in before the live, because they are doing a lot to help those pets affected by the wildfires. And I know the link in the news story that I'm going to show, it actually, when you click on it, it went to a Facebook group, but I don't remember what the name of it was, but I feel like it was the Maui Missing Pets. That sounds, I don't remember the Maui Cat Coalition, but I'm going to write that down because I did not hear about the Maui Cat Coalition. And then Maui Missing Pets. Yes.
To find friend and co-worker.
Okay, and I lied. This isn't the Oprah one. Maybe it is, but I feel like it might be the next one.
Monica Cole. All are growing weary after searching for days, and communication remains down in most of the area. The Family Assistance Center here at the Kahului Community Park is open until 8 o'clock tonight, and then it'll reopen again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Now, the Red Cross also has a hotline to report people missing, and that number is on your screen. Reporting live in Kahului, I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
Hello, Lynn. Part-time Maui resident Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, it is the Oprah one. Okay, so I was right. So here's Oprah. She visited the center and did what Oprah does best. Gave people necessities and helped out, the best way she could.
Free dropped by the War Memorial Gym shelter today, which is also a donation drop-off location.
That was a picture with Oprah Winfrey. She has pledged that she would drop off donations. Now, the media mogul owns more than 1,000 acres.
And I love this picture because she didn't just drop off necessities like blankets and pillows. She sat down and spoke with these people that have been affected by the wildfires. Just, you know, hearing their stories and listening.
In Kula and Hana, the group Ko'ohaleakala says she offered to buy supplies for the shelter, including cots, blankets, and toiletries. A look at the devastation in Lahaina right now. Our HNN viewers have been sending us video and photos. Stay with us. We have more coverage after the break.
Craziness. Okay, so we are almost done. And so this actually will be probably, actually it might just be that 2 hours, maybe a little bit more than 2 hours, but I wanted to make sure it was about 2 hours. And I think that's what I've got it at. So that's perfect. So this next one is, I don't know, ABC News, but I don't know if it's actually from ABC News. Oh no, it says ABC4. Okay. So this is again, Gio Benitez. I love him. And so whenever I see him reporting, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this because I feel like he's good at what he does. He's nice on the eyes, but I digress.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Maui. The county says the death toll now is up to 55. And tonight, more images from Lahaina's Front Street and the neighborhoods where homes are now gone, plus stories of survival. ABC's Gio Benitez reports from Maui.
Neighborhoods on Maui tonight in ruins, fire-ravaged communities reduced to rubble, embers still smoldering. Those explosive fires claiming at least 53 lives.
And let me pause because not to say that it's not as bad as it is, but I feel like, because there's the banyan tree in the mansion, so obviously it's bad. I feel like, though, based on the pictures that we saw yesterday, I'm not sure if it rained, but it almost looks like you can see more, there's more color to this view than there was yesterday. Like it seemed more ashy, I guess. But again, I mean, just decimated.
Embers still smoldering. Those explosive fires claiming at least 53 lives, and fears tonight more bodies will be found. At sunup, we headed out by boat to see firsthand the staggering destruction of Hawaii's one-time capital, Lahaina, its shoreline scorched. Dramatic new drone video showing hundreds of homes and businesses in ashes.
Right now, we are in front of that famous Front Street here in Lahaina, and you can just see it is completely destroyed. Home to so many historical landmarks, businesses, shops, restaurants, and of course, right there is that 150-year-old banyan tree beloved by so many here.
We walked through the streets, witnessing apocalyptic scenes, homes, apartments, restaurants, all leveled.
And they were chickens. Let me just go back. So they were chickens. It looks like two chickens and little baby chickens. So that was in a video I think I showed yesterday where I said, those kind of look like chickens. And so there's chickens. Two big chickens and 3 little chickens.
Apartments, restaurants, all leveled.
So we've made it to Lahaina. This is as far as we can get because they're still working on that search and rescue effort. But you can just see these are homes. These were once amazing homes right here on the water on Front Street. And they're just gone.
Anchor David Ono of our Los Angeles station KABC on the ground here too.
Right here behind me is a classic Lahaina neighborhood, and as you can see, the devastation is vast. Many homes on this one city block.
I feel like we already watched this. Did I put this video in twice? Maybe it's just the same clip, but I feel like we already watched this.
Have gone up in flames.
Al Crisostomo escaping, but fearing his home is gone.
It was a huge black smoke back then. And it's undescribable.
Tonight, terrifying new video of the moments those flames overtook this town. People forced to drive through walls of fire and suffocating smoke. The harrowing escape.
Fires on Front Street!
Boat crew member Dustin Johnson racing to warn others about the oncoming flames.
If anybody's still out here, the fire is on Front Street and it is time to go.
Sean Doherty and his girlfriend among those jumping into the ocean.
At one point, it seemed like I might drown a little bit. They inhaled a lot of water.
He says a first responder told them to get out. The situation wasn't going to get better, but Doherty was now barefoot.
And I couldn't even make it across the street because the pavement was so hot. And now I have second-degree burns on the bottom of the feet.
Jumping back into the water and losing track of his girlfriend.
And because it was so dark and so smoky, we lost each other. I had no choice. I had to get back into the water.
He is still trying to find her. Multiple fires are still burning on this island. Hawaii.
Oh, and I paused too slow. Right, so this is similar to the map that I had shown yesterday. So Lahaina is the one on the far left, and then you have the, I believe it's pronounced Kula Fire, and then the Olinda Fire.
Are still burning on this island. Hawaii Air National Guard helicopters swooping in, joining the firefight. Important cultural and historic landmarks destroyed.
The historic buildings that were there, the church, the prison, the mission house, all these different things are gone forever. They can't be replaced. They can't be rebuilt.
It's still not clear tonight how many people are missing and how many have been injured. But one glimmer of hope. On Wednesday, we met Steve Scott, who got separated from his wife, Patricia.
I'm trying to find my wife. I know she's safe. I think she's safe, but I haven't found her yet.
Late word tonight, she is okay, and they are now reunited.
Yes, I feel like we did watch that. Well, we just watched it again. So I think we should have 4 or 5 more videos.
We're going to begin this hour with a devastating update on the wildfires burning in Maui. Officials say that the death toll has risen to at least 55 people. And
again, we did get an alert during this live that it is now 67 fatalities have been confirmed.
That will likely grow. Search and rescue efforts are ongoing, though. One fire nearly completely destroyed the historic town of Lahaina. So we are going to head to Maui now, where Jonathan Bigliotti is standing by. Jonathan, how do things stand right now?
And good morning to you, Anne-Marie. Resources here on the island have been incredibly stretched thin, and this morning it is all hands on deck. The military is here on the ground. They are now assisting with this very active search and recovery effort. We also know of civilians who we rode along with in a helicopter who are delivering much needed aid. But the mood here this morning is one of growing desperation. People are desperate to get off the island. Others are desperate to return to their homes. And then there are those that are desperately trying to get in touch with their loved ones who are missing.
It's been 3 days since multiple wildfires tore through Maui, claiming dozens of lives and destroying hundreds of buildings.
What we saw was likely the largest natural disaster in Hawaii's state history.
80% of the tourist town of Lahaina is gone. Thursday's sunrise gave a full picture of the damage left behind. Entire blocks of homes and businesses wiped out. Some residents told us they never received official warnings.
We kind of just figured it out on our own. I realized when it was time to go, when the smoke was so dark, we could not see anything outside.
Liza Tobias took these photos as she...
Wow. Incredible pictures.
...fled her home. She returned on foot Thursday to find it in ruins, and her father, Carlo Tobias, missing after he refused to leave Tuesday night.
I wanted to force him to come with me, but he was very hard-headed and he didn't want to come.
Many who escaped the flames are now
Hey,
waiting for
JLL.
roads to reopen to see if their home survived. But others who've been trapped inside by those same road closures are running low on basics. Blue Hawaiian Helicopters has been gathering essential supplies and carting them to their choppers, where they pack as much as they can for people running out of food and water.
This is really the only way to get around these days. It is, unfortunately.
We joined them yesterday for their second full day of deliveries.
I got a text this morning for a coworker that they're running out of food, so when our people need them, we're there.
As soon as we arrived, the Blue Hawaiian fleet was greeted by the fire department, who helped them unload the supplies and then helped them reload with evacuating passengers.
It does appear like a bomb and fire went off.
Despite losing one of Maui's...
Oh my gosh, look at that. With the sun, like that shot right there is definitely gives a different perspective than some of the other videos we've seen.
Most beloved towns, Hawaii's governor is hopeful for Lahaina's future.
It is going to take many years to rebuild Lahaina. It will be a new Lahaina that Maui builds in its own image.
And this morning, there is mounting criticism over the emergency response. We spoke with many survivors who described this fire in the town and not receiving a single evacuation notice or even a text alert. In fact, one person told me by the time firefighters arrived in town, Lahaina was already on fire and many buildings already lost. Anne-Marie, David.
All right, Jonathan, I'm sure that will be part of the discussion moving forward. But for now, we're talking about search and rescue, which looks different, depending on where you are. What are some of the factors that, some of the people involved in this work have to take into consideration as they try to find whoever may still be alive out there?
Yeah, this is an incredibly difficult task, Anne-Marie, for the military teams and those that are on the ground now sifting through all of the rubble. We're talking hundreds of homes. 80% of Lahaina was destroyed, according to the governor. They're going in on foot and hand by hand going through all of these different areas, searching for the missing. We do know that about 1,000 people are missing. That could be because communications are down there and it's simply too difficult for family to get in touch with loved ones. But it will be a difficult task that we'll be carrying out for at least the next few weeks to come.
Jonathan, I want to talk more about this lack of an emergency siren. Now, I was just reading on the Associated Press, Hawaii boasts what the state describes as the largest integrated outdoor all-hazard public safety warning system in the world. And here we've got your reporting and the reporting from the AP that says there was no indication warning sirens sounded before people ran for their lives. They tried to use mobile phones and radio stations, but the power and cellular outages may have limited the reach. I mean, this is infuriating. And I mean, what is the governor saying about this?
And that's interesting that this reporter from CBS News asked the other reporter, because as we know, the governor did say that he is looking into why the sirens were not sounded to alert people of the fire. So I thought that was interesting as well. Yes, and actually, I don't even know. Oh, I guess I could have done it myself. It should be. It's after the Humane Society one. I know that.
It's infuriating and unbelievable. The governor and officials during a press conference yesterday said evacuation notices did go out, but it was unclear what the time frame for that was. And we do know that a timeline has been requested.
That is just, I mean, how do you even, I don't even know.
Several times by reporters that were there in the room. At this point, officials aren't giving a timeline. It is baffling because everyone we have spoken with, and we've spoken with many people, they all describe the same scene of chaos. Many people were in their homes, didn't even know there was a fire burning in their town until it reached their own neighborhoods. That's why we...
Oh my gosh. So I thought this was like a before picture. So this looks like condos. I'm going to just say condos. These condos seem to be untouched. I mean, they could have damage, but seemingly untouched. And then when the camera pans to the right,
of chaos. Many people were in their homes, didn't
utter
even know there was a
destruction.
fire burning in their town until it reached their own neighborhoods. That's why we have heard of dozens of people.
Like, that is bizarre to me. Like, just complete destruction, and then just across this roadway, perfectly fine. Let me rephrase. Seemingly perfectly fine.
People fleeing on foot into the Pacific Ocean to save their lives. It is very eerily reminiscent of the fire in Paradise, California in 2018. Back then,
there we go. So someone else is saying the same thing I am.
the code red system there did not work. Many people did not get that notification in time, and it appears that's exactly what happened here. And it may be responsible for why so many people died. That death toll, we are told, could significantly rise in the days to come.
And for the people who are alive, who managed to escape, I mean, it looks like there's pretty much no place to stay. How is Hawaii handling these people who need shelter?
Yeah, there are thousands of people who were evacuated. Many of them are tourists. They are stranded at the airport trying to get off. Airlines have increased the number of flights and reduced fares so that they can get back to their homes. But then there are those who can't get back to their homes here, who live on the island. We believe it's around 2,000, according to what the governor said yesterday. They're currently staying in a number of shelters set up here on the island. We also saw a number of people living in their cars. That's how desperate it's become. The governor is asking for those in the community that do have homes to open their doors. He has also called on hotels here to open their rooms to house the homeless right now.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is the one about the Humane Society. So I have to figure out where we're at.
Welcome back. We've seen the images. The devastation on Maui has left thousands of people and animals displaced. And joining us now live from Maui to talk about the impact to animals and how you can help is Maui Humane Society Director of Marketing, Katie Shannon. And Katie, thank you so much for being here. We know you're really busy. Can you tell us first what kind of situation the Humane Society is dealing with right now?
Absolutely. It has been devastating here on Maui, but you know what? The Maui community has answered. We have had so many volunteers and hundreds of donations here at the shelter, which is phenomenal because what we are doing.
And for those of you who are animal lovers like me, I will say I watched this entire clip and they do show one dog. However, they are very careful in how they present it, and it's sad. And I did post the link in chat to the Maui Humane Society. And actually what I'll do really quickly is I'm going to share this. I had their page open. It did not look like this morning when I went to it. So they have really gotten things organized. And so they have disaster relief shelters. So they have, where owners and pets can stay together. So they have that there, where supplies only, where you can drop off supplies. The Maui Wildfires Pets Help Group. So this is the Facebook group that I saw. And so I thought I joined it. I guess I didn't. Not that I can help, but at least, if people had, if they needed anything or if you could send people things. So that is linked directly from the Humane Society. And then they have, if your pet is lost or missing, what you can do. The only thing that I was kind of sad about is they said that for those who have missing pets, they would need a photo of the pet. And depending on, I would assume that people brought their phones with them. However, what happens if they didn't? What if they didn't have time? If they just, they just left with what they were wearing? That was the only question I had. And then they also have, if you find a pet, what you can do, you can file a report, you can upload a photo, call Humane Enforcement, keep the animal, don't, let it outside. And then they do have how to help. So they need fosters on island, drop off dry and wet pet food, litter, pop-up kennels, treats, and the mainland donate. So that is where I clicked this, and you can donate. They take donations through PayPal. That's what I did. And then there was, I think because you make a credit donation, there's like a fee. So there's an option as to whether you want to help them by paying the extra fee. I think it was $1.07 or something. I was like, I'll just, pay the credit card fee. So I did donate to them because that's best I can do. I'm not in Hawaii. So definitely check that page out. They've really, because all of this was not here this morning when I went to donate. So they're really doing what they can.
Doing is prepping kennels, pop-up kennels, and emergency kits to develop and actually provide to the shelters for assistance for the people that need it most. So we are providing different emergency kits to War Memorial and to Maui High School. We're also providing them to Hanabel Tavares Community Center and Ma'alaya Harbor, because this is where people are going to be bringing their animals once the roads are open. We have been able to distribute them so far. There are hundreds and thousands of people that have needed to evacuate or are just displaced, and so we know that animals will follow. And so we've been able to distribute them so far.
And, we were seeing some images earlier as you were talking to us of, some animals that were burned. So have you been seeing a lot of animals? I know you're expecting an influx though, right?
Exactly. So we've had a few animals that have come through. We actually have a dog that has just arrived while we've been sitting on this call. But we have had a burn victim of a dog, and, the scorched paws all the way down to the bone is just so terrifying, and the whiskers are just so scorched from the fire that she was running away from. She was actually picked up by a firefighter and saved, and then brought to emergency personnel who dropped her off at Maui Humane Society. The number one thing that we're going to be asking people to do is to file loss reports for their pets, because what we want to do is reunite their owners with their pets once we are able to have that road open and actually attend to the tragedy that is happening.
So how exactly can people go about doing that? What do they need to do now if they are looking for their pets?
So it also is so difficult because the cell service and communications on Lahaina are still discontinued or disconnected, and so we are asking people, once they are able to, if they can hear this, to file loss reports on our website, mauihumanesociety.org. And if there are family members that might be able to do that for them, that's perfect. Basically, we just need some basic information and a photo of the animal, and so that we can reunite the contact information, so that we can reunite the human and the pet. This will really allow us to,
look at that sweet baby. So that's one of the shelters where they are allowing pets and owners to be together. And so look at that. He looks like a little bulldog. What a little cutie baby.
Allow them to reunite as quickly as possible. We're also asking people for monetary donations, and that is because we know that there are going to be animals in such horrible shape and needing life-saving medical procedures when they arrive, and the donations will be able to ensure that these costs are going to be covered so that we can continue to serve the community to the best of our ability.
And there's something that you created, right, to help make it a little bit easier if folks want to maybe help foster or even, across the state. Explain that a little bit.
Yes, we've created a Facebook group that's called Maui Wildfires help group, and this is really to connect people that are here on Maui that need help to the people that can offer help. And so this is an opportunity for the community to come together, because although we would love to be able to help every single person, we know that our resources are only as fast or as limited as we're able to move. And so we are going to need this entire island and all of the Hawaiian Islands to work together to really rebuild Maui. You know, we are only 48 hours really into this tragedy, and we are waiting to be able to help those that need it most. But this community group will allow people to connect together and hopefully try to rebuild Maui as quickly as possible.
And real quick before you let you go, you know, do the shelters have enough food, toys, everything that you need, cat litter? Do you have all of that, or should people be making donations if they can?
I will say the community has showed up and given a tremendous amount of supplies, but we know that they're limited. And so we are going to be handing these out to all of the shelters and anyone who comes to Maui Humane Society needing help. The number one thing that we need are pop-up kennels to ensure that animals can stay contained. We also need kitty litter. We have a very large amount of community cats on island and pet cats. You know, we heard about people running out of their homes with cats underneath their arms. And of course, we can always use additional pet food, whether it's wet or dry, and treats. And of course, keeping our pets enriched with toys would be phenomenal as well. Really, anything that people are willing to donate, we will take, we will distribute. You know, without being able to be there on the ground, it is hard to determine and be able to assess what the true needs are. And so we are just really anticipating right now and prepping as much as possible so that we can be there to answer the call once that road is open.
Yeah, and we hope that's sooner than later. Of course, the monetary donations will really help. Well, Katie Shannon, Director of Marketing at Maui Humane Society, thank you so much for joining us. Got to take care of our fur babies, definitely.
Okay, and I just want to look and see what other videos I have. So, okay, we have 3 more. So it is going to go a little, it'll probably be more like 2.5 hours, but that's fine. I have 3 more videos, and then I have a closing video that I will play after I say good night. So let me reshare. I just wanted to make sure because I have my slides, and I thought I added an extra video, but I guess I didn't. So we have 3 more, so about 8 minutes.
This was the horrifying scene. Just step.
And again, the last 3 stories are again about survivor stories, about those who survived the wildfires in Maui.
From Sam Younger's beachfront home, Sam, his wife Josie, and their 2 dogs escaping with seconds to spare as the inferno engulfed their neighborhood along Lahaina's historic Front Street, turning it into ash.
It was
devastating.
It's unspeakable, unthinkable, really, just seeing what was going on, the destruction, all the people.
This popular tourist town, once rich in beauty and culture, now gutted. Many residents left with scars, physical and emotional, as they fled in terror.
It's like an apocalypse.
As walls of flame surrounded Mike Chiquino's home, he and his wife Andreza had to dive into the water to escape getting burned.
And the current was pulling us out. You can't see anything. At one point, we have fire on us, and we don't know where land is.
Finally, making it back to shore, they desperately searched for their missing dogs. Then heard the cries of their neighbors.
It was like every 10 feet was help, help. And I helped as many people as I possibly could. But I couldn't go any further because there's just too much heat.
While thousands have been evacuated, as her street burned, surf instructor Lisa Panis refused to leave, instead rescuing others from their homes.
Me and my friend ran into a burning building. We rescued 2 kids, got them safe to their mom.
Residents of the sacred land now helping each other recover. Churches and shelters offering the displaced free clothes, food, and a safe place to sleep.
It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of years and a lot of manpower, but I have no doubt that it will bounce back.
So, Dana, I mean, first of all, so good to see the helpers have already showed up there. What are folks at those shelters, what are they telling you about what they most need going forward?
Well, Craig, the biggest need right now is temporary housing. Many of these families, their homes have burned to the ground, and officials say in Lahaina, there's nothing left. So the big challenge is going to be rebuilding, and where are you going to put those homes? Even Hawaiian officials have asked people across the state to open up their homes to evacuees. Craig?
All right. Dana Griffin Force there in Hawaii.
Okay, so that, and then, so this one, Lahaina residents look for loved ones as crews visit fire damaged town is the name of this clip. And I don't, this is again ABC4, which is KITV, which I believe is local to Hawaii.
Now, here's the latest information you need to know. Access to Lahaina remains closed and only emergency traffic is allowed. The public can leave the west side of Maui via the Lahaina bypass. Only Kahakuloa residents can leave the west side via Waihe'e. An ID is required for Kahakuloa, Honokawai, and Ka'anapali residents. Essential Ka'anapali resort staff can also access Kahakuloa via Waihe'e. Let's now go live to KITV4's Jeremy Lee, who's standing by in Wailuku, Maui.
That's right. A press conference later this afternoon wrapped up in which Chief Pelletier said, we just simply do not know how many lives are lost or how many people are missing. Even when it comes to surveying, the county we had an opportunity to talk to representatives from the county, and they weren't able to say how much of the area has been surveyed. But Mayor Bisson characterized Front Street as completely gone. It's all gone, he said. And KITV4 had a chance to tour that damage and see for ourselves what it looked like. I'm going to roll some video right now that we shot earlier today. Now, this is an aerial view you can see of the damage right by Fleetwoods and the surrounding businesses on Front Street. The one thing that public officials were able to tell us is that FEMA will be involved and is involved. Representative FEMA saying, keep your receipts if you're a business owner, if you are an individual, and these expenses you are incurring at this time of emergency can be cataloged, then catalog them. Keep track of your receipts. But as you can see, that's my camera just walking around, looking at the streets of Lahaina and the total devastation and just how indiscriminate the destruction was. At one moment you would see an apartment complex like the Front Street apartment building, which was completely destroyed. And then across the street, you would see condos that were spared. So it did not make a lot of sense, especially to those who are there still, who have been dealing with the uncertainties. I had a chance to speak with residents who were still there in Lahaina. Every once in a while, I would run into somebody sporadically, and they would tell me what they had been through the last couple of days. This here is a soundbite from a local of the Keahi family. Have a listen.
I mean, it's so chaotic. I didn't know anybody. I didn't find him till the next day. But luckily, they're okay. But it was chaos. So nobody knew what was going on. There's no self-service. So you cannot get a hold of anybody. And it's just trying to find people. It's trying to make sure our family's safe. But now I kind of accounted for most of my family. Now we're just trying to figure out what's left of our homes.
And Keith Keahi went on to tell me that it's about finding people right now for him, not property. He did tell me that his grandmother's house was lost, a complete loss, and he's trying to keep his ohana together and talk to people and find them and know that his loved ones are safe. That is a situation and a task that so many are going through right now from Lahaina and beyond right here on Maui. It is still hazardous in this area. We actually were booted pretty quickly by law enforcement, and that did not come as a surprise. The county has made it clear that they do not want people out on the streets, that it is still a very volatile and dangerous situation. And so we were actually given the directive to turn back after we had a chance to just take a little bit of video, as you had an opportunity to see. But
so that's interesting because I'm pretty sure law enforcement had said that at a press conference before this video was made, but I digress.
For the most part, Lahaina is still closed. It is still dangerous.
I know, right? The chickens, they're so cute and they're everywhere. Like that would you don't see chickens running around. Like especially, wild chickens. They're cute though.
There's still debris and utilities are completely down. We're going to have more as we continue to follow this story. Reporting live, Jeremy Lee, KITV4 Island News.
Thank you, Jeremy. Hawaii U.S. Senator Brian Schatz was among the officials at the press conference, which wrapped up just a short time ago. He says it'll take years for Maui to recover from this devastation.
We are united. We are not underestimating the task in front of us in the next couple of days and couple of weeks, but also a couple of years. This is going to be a long period of recovery.
Governor Josh Green says work has started to help find lodging for thousands of people. They plan to request aid from hotels and people from across the state to open their homes to evacuees. The county says food, water, and various supplies are being distributed at the Lahaina Gateway Center.
All right, so we've got one more, and then I will close. So this is, again, give me 1 second, y'all. I think I have to sneeze, maybe not. All right, I'm gonna hit play.
Well, we've been hearing so many stories of people still trying to reach their family members and their friends in Lahaina. An unofficial list of hundreds of missing people is circulating among those who are desperate to find their loved ones. KITV4's Kristen Concilio spoke today with a Hawaii Kai woman still searching for her 82-year-old father who lives alone in Lahaina.
Gordon Kamakahi is a former HPD police officer who now enjoys living the country lifestyle. But the last time his family heard from him is right before the devastating fires in Lahaina.
It's taking a toll on myself, my children, my husband, all of us. We just want him to be safe and come home. Let us know you're okay.
His daughter, Laura Lutu, says he left her a voicemail in the early afternoon on Tuesday, letting her know that it was very windy, but that he was all right. But later that night, when news of the raging fires broke, Lutu says she couldn't reach him because the phone lines were already down. There's been no communication since.
Please, just call us. Just ask. Don't be ashamed. Just ask somebody, hey, can I use your phone? But call somebody, call the Red Cross. They have your name, Dad. They have your name down and they can help you.
Lutu says she's put her father's name on every list she can find and is reaching out to family and friends for help.
I called the Maui Memorial Hospital and asked if he's there, and he's not at the hospital. Any word, just, any word on him. It's frustrating not knowing.
She's not the only one. Names and pictures of missing people are flooding in on Facebook and on other social media sites.
Every time the news comes on and I see a shot of a shelter, I'm not looking at who they're interviewing. I'm scanning the background. I'm just looking for any kind of a hope that there might be, he might be back there bending down or something.
Maui County officials still don't know just how many people are missing as they continue a massive rescue mission. Kristen Concilio, KITV4 Island News.
All right, so that is all I have for us tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here today with me. I may go live tomorrow with the press conference, depending on what information is given. Again, the press conference is 9 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 3 a.m. Eastern. So I will be watching it tomorrow when I wake up, and I will decide then whether or not I go live on the Maui wildfires. I do have a story that I want to talk about that I've been working on. I will definitely go live tomorrow with that, but probably not until later in the evening, because I do want to get up to my parents' house and see them, because I haven't seen them since the beginning of the week, and then go from there. So what I'm going to leave us all with, and I don't know why I stopped sharing because it's the last slide, is the video that I left us with yesterday. And this again is a TickTock video that I found, but I believe it. Oh, good, Bash. Nice. We'll talk after the live. Oh, wait, this isn't the one. This is a different one. So this one, and I am going to play the music because I don't monetize my videos when it comes to tragedies. There is a song in it that I'm probably going to get hit with a copyright claim, but whatevs. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. I much appreciate it. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.
If I would have known that you wouldn't be here anymore, I would have made the moments last a little longer. 'Cause now I'm alone, and you're just a memory in my mind. I would have given anything to say goodbye. If I would have known, if I would have known, oh, I remember how we would laugh all the time, but now you're not around. And I'm just trying to find something else to fill the empty spaces you left behind. But nothing ever seems to work. I've been thinking about the things that you used to say, even not around. You're in my head every day, but it's